Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming and welcome to GQUAT Traditions, where good friends become family and family is everything. Oh my goodness, time flies. I was looking for something in the bookcase to show you guys, and I looked up and it said, "Oh, it's 6 o'clock. It's showtime." And then, of course, the computer did something. Sissy Joanne Stevens first, and the last shall be first. Remember what Daddy used to say? Start ahead and you'll be on time. I started ahead, but I lost track of time. It's actually getting dark out here. A little after 6 p.m. Connecticut 6B. GT Junior grows at Alaska. Thank you for coming and welcome. Mike's Chaotic Gardening and everyone who is here for the replay in the bushes or who will be showing up later and listening to the replay. I found an interesting journal that I wanted to show you guys because we will be making journal covers in a few. And I wanted to show you, I picked up one of my old journals, and this was a commercial journal. It was given to me by either my sister Joanne Stevens or my daughter. Hey, Renee's Garden, thank you for coming and welcome. Saw your saw your video this morning, or were you live in the garden and doing things and talking about my old neighborhood, Auntie Joanne's neighborhood? And I loved your sign out front about your farmer's market. That was interesting. Cheryl Faulkner, thank you for coming. Welcome. Let me summarize. Maria Graham, thank you. Thank you, moderators. I am just so excited. Do you realize September is gone? Just like time flew. I was sitting right here waiting for you guys, waiting for time. Jags, J3GS, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And I was looking at journals. This is one of my journals from 2014. It's almost 2024, and time flies. Kids, in a minute they're here, in a minute they're grown, they're gone, they're out of the house, they're back, whatever. And I picked up this journal and I was looking at it, and one of the things about it that I found interesting, I just turned the pages, and one thing, I know Maria Graham loves butterflies. Most of us love butterflies. These are some empty pages in the back, but this journal had butterflies in it. My family gave it to me. They know I like butterflies. Butterflies and roses on the front, two of my favorite things. Little secret, I have a butterfly tattoo. Little Miss Grown. I got it for my 50th birthday. It's about this size, and it's on my shoulder, and it's a lavender butterfly. I don't know what color it is now. I can't see it. But anyway, I was looking at this journal, all the handwriting in it, and then hi, Sweet Thumb. Thank you for coming, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone, to GQUAT Traditions, where good friends become family, and family is everything. I was looking at all the this is what took up my time, things that I'd written in here. And I like journals with big writing. I write big. That way I can see where I'm writing without my glasses when I'm relaxing and just doing things. It looks like I ended it on a certain note. And one of these, even though this is an expensive journal, it does have a page marker. But what I was looking at is one of the things in here was a little flyer handout or something I imagine Maya Angelou passed in 2014. And these were actual, I didn't realize it until just now when my finger, don't look at my nails, child. Look like I walked from Ohio or somewhere. Hi, our treasured home. Thank you for coming, Anastasia and Nana, Nancy. I appreciate you. So I guess I took one of these little stickers off, but it's funny when you go back and you look at journals. I encourage each of you to have a journal, write a journal. You don't have to end it or stop any pages. I'm going to go over one of my favorite journal covers in a few, but I thought I would share some some happy moments looking back through this one over the years. It started in 2014, December 8th, and this is a card from one of my great granddaughters. She just graduated high school this year, and the kids, the family, we always did art. We always did little arts and crafts and things. I say that to the point that I know Jag3GS, has a grandson he talks about. A lot of you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews, neighbors. There used to be, well, there were a couple little boys in our neighborhoods over the years that that had, I guess, a crush on Auntie Ellen. They're grown men now, and I remember one of them at the time. I worked and I went to school at night. And one evening I was going to school, and no, when I first moved over there, it was near the law school, and a little boy came up to me and said, "Well, what is your name?" I said, "My first name is Ellen. You can call me Miss Ellen." I said, "Or my family and my friends call me Penny. Which would you like to call me?" He looked for a minute. He said, "I will call you Miss Ellen Penny because I want to be your business associate and I want to be your friend." I thought that was so cute. Then another day, I was going to school one because I worked during the day and I went to school in the evening, and I had an exam in law school. No, I'm not a lawyer. I never became a lawyer. Hello, David Corey with Crop. Thank you for coming. Welcome. And I told him, I said, "Well, pray for me. I have an exam in law school tonight." He looked at me. He said, "Miss Ellen Penny?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do good." I thought he was the cutest little guy. He was the cutest little guy. And I just say I love children. I love looking back at the past, and I look forward to the future. All of you would not be in my life if I didn't have a future or I hadn't made progress over the last few years. So this was just a piece of computer paper that Sydney folded, took a marker, and I guess she planned it because she has eyebrows, eyes, everything. There's a picture in here. On Thursday, I talked about one of my Cane Corso Italian Mastiffs, and this was Kenya, my very first Cane Corso Italian Mastiff. She was a big girl. She weighed about 140, and she had the shiniest fur. Her color was called blue. It was actually a blue gray. When she was a puppy, she had blue eyes, and yeah, she was a great guardian, and she had one litter, maybe two over her lifetime, of the most beautiful puppies. Auntie Joanne had one of her puppies. Then I had random things. I guess the kids were making cards for Mother's Day. Here's another one. Happy Mother's Day, Nana. Oh, this one is from the same great granddaughter. I guess the theme was a smiling face. We always smiled a lot, the kids and I. And I, because of health reasons, moved into back into the mom's family home. Hola, mi hermana, Yankee sister, homestead. Welcome, 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 everyone who's listening. And in this envelope is a bunch of little notes. Sydney used to come. Her bedroom was the closest to mine, at mom's house. And here are just bunches of little letters, little notes she would write and leave in my bedroom. I had a quilt that was handmade. When I say handmade, with my machine. And inside the it was made of old jeans and pants and shirts. It was a memory quilt out of my dad's old clothes. My dad passed, and the kids would come in, and if I was out walking or I put on my backpack at the time, I'd walk to the library downtown. Couldn't drive because I was legally blind, and they would put little notes in my pocket of my jeans in the quilt, or pieces of candy on Halloween or something. This one is a card from Cam. He's a 15-year-old basketball budding star. That boy can jump. He can jump. David Corey with Crop. Thank you. Beautiful dog. She was a great dog. And she was so gentle, so good with kids, all kids. Most Cane Corso Italian Masters are good with kids. And I'll tell you what, when people got puppies, I tell them, I don't know how you correct your kids, but I'll tell you what, you won't spank them in front of this dog. And yeah, there wasn't any spanking. Hey, Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Nikki has two teenagers, and I just wanted to show some of the artwork of mine. The kids will probably fuss at me tomorrow when I go there. My daughter works full time, but she also does hair. She twists and whatnot, and I'll be doing something with this poodle look for tomorrow. She'll be helping her nana, and uh, the different things that you see in when you look back at journals. This one had a lot of notes about my embroidery machine. It was one of my first embroidery machines, and it was notes what to bring to the embroidery club meeting. And it had just interesting things that were crossed off, things I needed to finish. This one is a note. I'm not even sure who it's from. It just says follow your bliss. And oh, it says enjoy your soy candle. This one must be from Samara Sissy. Samara, who lived in Texas at the time. And I'll get to the point I was getting ready to get at. One of my favorite things to do with the kids, and Nikki's coming in saying hello to everybody, Maria K. Cheryl, Yankee's sister, everybody, Jags. And this was classic oatmeal raisin cookies. Well, all the kids didn't like raisins. Some were allergic to nuts. And this is what we would do on Saturday morning. I would get up early. You have some nice clothes, just beautiful. Thank you, David. My family picks out most of my clothes. I don't think I've bought any clothes in the last 8 years. They just see things. They know that I'm a homebody. I love being home. Sometimes I've had to be home because of health reasons. And they shop and they just see something and pick it up for Nana. So David Corey, you will find this interesting. You talk about cookies, but these are the classic oatmeal raisin cookies with the old recipe cut out of obviously a big oatmeal box, because this is flattened, but it's very big. And I would pick them. I mean, the kids would wake up. Cam would always make sure he was the first one up. And we would come in the kitchen, and my mom has big bowls. My mother has in her house still pots that she had when I was a baby. Can you imagine this? Pots that are in pans, and the black skillets that are 75 years old. Nikki likes my top. Thank you. Well, look, I don't know if you can see it. Way up there, that's my gift that I bought myself with Mother's Day with their money, because that's a giant, I mean, a giant stainless steel bowl, and it holds 5 gallons and like five. 5 gallons, and I don't know how many quarts, like 50 quarts. So I can make the biggest batch of stuff. But anyway, I used to make cookies, and they would I would divide it in 3 batches, no, 4, because there would be one for the house, one for each of the 3 great grandchildren, and I would give them their own stainless steel bowl to finish as however they chose. And Cam, I remember one day, Cam doesn't eat oatmeal, first of all. And his mother came down and said, "Good morning, Cam. Is that potato salad making bowl? You can make potato salad for the whole church, the whole neighborhood, a whole a whole meeting group. You can make potato salad for probably 50, 100 people, depending on how much they eat in that bowl, Nikki. It's big. It holds as much as a 5 gallon bucket. And that's what I used to use, a food grade 5 gallon bucket to wash my greens or to hold potatoes in. And especially here in this apartment stead where I'm vertically challenged. And I I plan to make chow chow. I plan to do so much stuff, but I run out of time. I run out of time. So going back to Cam, his mother this particular day said, "Cam, did Nana give you breakfast?" He said, "Oh yes. Hi, Sassy. Thank you for coming and welcome. Watching you playing games on on your different devices. That's one of Cam's favorite things to do." And Cameron said, "Yes, Nana gave me breakfast." And his mother said, "What did you eat?" He said, "Oatmeal." So she left. Then she came back later on. She said, "I thought it was funny. Cameron had oatmeal for breakfast and he doesn't eat oatmeal. Well, this child doesn't eat this. This child didn't eat that. We ate everything on our plate. We ate everything mom cooked because that's just how it was back then. Either that or you didn't eat." So I came back later on, and each of the kids, some of them made small cookies. Some of them, like Cam, would put nuts in his because he knew that one of his sisters, the one that he didn't trust the most, was allergic to nuts. So he put nuts in his so they wouldn't eat his. And one would like, say, chocolate chips instead of raisins in hers. David, Corey, you said you love chocolate chip cookies. So I came and I said, "Cam, where are your cookies?" So he made the great big cookies like the ones you used to get at, what is it, Mrs. Gooch's, Mrs. C's, whatever, the big cookies. So he had 6 of them. The everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. You have to wait till I make cookies. I make cookies with like the whole half pecans in it, big chunks, big walnuts. Ask Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe. Actually, you won't have to, because when I go there in November, I will be making some. And you guys are acting up, I see already in the audience. So I said, "Cam, where are your cookies?" Because I could see the girls, they had theirs on little plates with their name on it and plastic wrap. So Sassy's talking about, y'all acting up, I see. So the girls had theirs all labeled with their names on it. So no, Maria Graham, put your order in now. Yeah, because my daughter says, "Don't bring any cookies to the house. Mom is diabetic when she's home." The kids that are supposedly eating healthy, even though they're adults. 2 are graduated from high school, and the other one is a 6'2" basketball player, and he can eat whatever he wants. But I really bake good food. Cameron, where are your cookies? I hid them. So I'm looking in the oven. It's a big wide oven, one of those big ovens. And Cameron, where are your cookies? You hid them. Cameron, where did you hide them? In my stomach. He ate all of them. Oh, he ate all the cookies. All the cookies. But going back through these old journals, and I have boxes of journals, boxes of journals. It's like looking at my life history year by year, my day planners. I have those, what I did that day. So I'm just, uh, laying the groundwork to why everybody should have a journal, some journals, Jags, to remember some of the stuff your grandson does or your children. Nancy's talking, laughing about, I guess, where Cameron hid his cookies. Okay, stop spamming symbols. David I know Nightbot is not talking junk. He's actually saying, come on, bruh. Stop spamming symbols. 3 symbols, David, not 4. Sorry about that. Your order's been in, Maria. Actually, David, did you get your did you get some mail? You don't have to put it out loud. Just put a 1 in the chat. Poor David's always in trouble. It's like at our house, somebody has to be the bad guy. He's saving you guys. He's saving you guys. Gina, I watched you last night. I don't know if it was a rerun, whether I woke up in the bushes, and I didn't have a chance to get back. So, going into journals, I'm planning some of the things that we will be doing up until the end of the year. And I actually have a pink notebook. This is a pile of notes and things that I do over here. Because if you guys are interested, we can make a Christmas napkin or a Christmas Hana Kwanzaa or a just because napkin. And what's interesting about this napkin, you can buy fat quarters of fabric. Me and her are a little closer. Oh, Maria. David, I don't know, David. I send you mail. You don't even say, yeah, dog, cat, whatever. I got it. I'm sure not making cookies and mailing them to a ghost. Mr. Destructor. Oh, Nightbot. Nightbot is so fresh. He's as bad as Siri. My granddaughter, some of you have heard this story. My granddaughter, who's an adult, said, Siri, call Nana. Siri got smart and said, call Nana? I don't even know your Nana. As a matter of fact, I don't even know who you are. You need to go in and program your phone so that I know that you are the owner of this. Oh, got smart. And then she said something. I think he cut it off when some bad words were saying some. So David's going to, oh, you did? David, does that mean you did get your box? Okay, I put rocks in it. So this can be folded so that it looks like a tree. All it is a semicircle, you guys, and you I will show you how to cut it, but just start collecting some fat quarters. I celebrate Christmas Hana Kwanzaa in my building. Some people celebrate Christmas. Some people celebrate Hanukkah. Some people celebrate Kwanzaa. And we all just get along. We get along. Everybody has different politics. Alaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum. Some people. And it's a great community, and it's old people seldom get into knockdown fighting, scratching fights. But in fact, I've never, yeah, there's been some yelling. In fact, I've been the proprietress of some of the yelling about stuff. I have PTSD, and certain things are going on. If you bump me, I'm going to get off me, get off my back. you know People say don't bother her, she has PTSD. Just don't crowd my personal space, and don't walk up on me, breathing up on me, bumping me. I text you GQUAT when I got it. Okay, must be your phone then. Okay, David's promising you guys. Oh, he crosses his heart. He says he did. Nikki says off my back. I have, well, like I said, some of the kids are allergic to nuts, and my granddaughter doesn't like nuts. So the people who do like nuts, when I bake the batches of cookies and I give them to the neighbors say, "Oh, you can test your recipes on me. Oh, I'll taste test." I make big cookies. So we're going to get mosey on down the road because I want to get over and show you guys the journal. You get along with everyone, David. You meet no stranger. That's me. That's me. So I want to show you something that I don't use as much anymore, but I put it in a lot of my spray bottles and everything, and that is patchouli oil. I buy it, it's an essential oil. This one, actually, it's kind of big. It's run down. I don't use perfume in the summertime. We're easing on down the road. Yes, don't you carry nothing that might be a load. Keep on down the road. That's from The Wiz, you guys, even though I can't sing. No, today's Saturday. Big Rooster and them were singing and carrying on, I guess, last night. I usually fall asleep at night. I took a nap tonight, so I would be awake. But this is patchouli oil, and it's good for discouraging mosquitoes and stuff. I put it on in the summers before I go into the garden. And one of my friends, who's a writer friend, moved into the building, and I was bringing something to her door, and she was coming to the door just before I went to the garden. She says, Ellen, I know that's you. I can smell you. She could smell my patchouli oil in the door. Back in the 70s, everybody who used to smoke weed used to use it. I hated it then. No, don't smoke any weed yet. I probably need to for my glaucoma and my leg pains. I was supposed to get some one time. It didn't happen. So I never did. And I'm allergic to, I have asthma, so I can't use any smoky products. So I never did try my therapy, even though my doctor said she would write a prescription. There's a place right up the street from me, a dispensary. But I just haven't gotten to it. But I just want to say that patchouli oil is used in almost all perfumes, no matter what the formulation or whatever, because it lasts a long time. It was invented in India for people to treat their precious silks with. Oh my gosh. Speaking of clothes and tops, some of those safaris that, oh, my nails, I don't know what that color was, that reflection. Some of the safaris, I'm sorry, the saris or that are made of raw silk cost like $10,000. There's a special like royal silk that's kind of yellow, that's untreated. Trust me, I never had any of that. But my daughter stayed in a hotel and I forgot what country, and someone gifted her a scarf made of that silk. So patchouli oil, I put in a lot of things just to discourage bugs, gnats, what everything or anything. Gina, thanks everybody. Everybody, please welcome Gina. Gina is a new member of the GQUAT Friends and Family Club. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. And you know what? We all fit in on different levels. The people in the bushes contribute because, yo, what oil, G-Quat? This patchouli oil, David. I like it, the smell of it now. Yo, what oil, G-Quat? Yes, yes, yes. So I have some of my tops are silk or made of good stuff that I'd like them to last a long. I'm not buying any more clothes. I'm not buying any more cars. I'm not buying any more houses. I ain't buying nothing. Gina. I'm going to do like Gina and save my ducats if I had any, that is. Would I have them in my name? Oh, hail to the no, as Madonna would say, as Medea would say, because you have to do part of your planning is called estate planning, and you plan for your end of life. This apartment I downsized. You know why? Because I can live in here until I'm 99, 100 years old. All I do is have a helper come in, somebody clean up, a nurse, whatever. I've had surgeries in the past when I moved in here, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, that's exactly what I did. Gee, I'm trying to get into the green, David. Won't nobody help me? Nobody will help me. And even with my glaucoma, like 8 years, my son suggested it, but I just have to find another way to do it. And I wake up every night 3 o'clock with leg cramps, with bunches of stuff that you get when you're old. Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner can tell you about it. I don't think Jegs is old enough yet. He tries to claim the senior citizen stuff, but no, he's not there yet. So I'm looking at the clock. I'm going to get on down the road because I have some more stuff to show you guys. I do have notes. Uh, GT Junior. This is one of the things I do. One of my planning things. I just put on. This is a 5x8 card. I bought some from Buck and a Quarter store, but they were real thin. I like the thicker ones that I get from Amazon. Why? Because they last longer. And I don't make a new one every single live that I have, but I go over just I have an outline. Like I try to do a welcome, then I go to books, news, current events. My kind of thing like that today was the journal. I talk about gardening. I'll get to that in like a second. The show and tell. And then whatever I was doing that weekend, little things, to remember to tell you guys peace, love, and blessings. Jags is not a senior. I didn't mean that. I just meant a voting adult. That's what I meant, Jags. That's what I meant. Auntie Jags is trying to say, oh, Sassy's throwing some shade. I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting to that. Yes, ma'am. Save some of those ducats. Gina, I don't spend anything unless there's a reason. Yes, things fall in my cart, but it's gardening stuff. That's planning for the future. It's fabric. That's planning for the future because I try to only buy it on sale or something that's really rare that won't be available in the future. Yes, thanks everybody. Nikki, thank you for saying it. Thanks for hitting the like button and talking about fitting in on different levels. There is my Cash App, my email address, and that what I use any Cash App or anything that you guys send me, and some of you have been generous, and some of you have sent donations by PayPal or by Cash App. That's I don't use that for anything except the channel. I am on a fixed income, and I figure even if it's only $5 a week, and instead of using it for frivolous things, instead of joining a lot of different channels. That's my mother is 90. Well, my mother is still happily living, and that's $5. I can buy something extra for mom. I can buy her a box of sugar-free candy. Have you guys looked at the prices of those things? Oh my gosh. I bought a few little things. I think it was Friday. No, because it was raining Friday. Thursday when I went in the store and it rang up. They said $23, $25. I'm like, for that little bit of stuff, all I got was some sugar free candy. Oh, and I wanted to get her some liver. They didn't have any liver. Hello, Susan Blissful Acres. Thank you for coming and welcome. So I got some liverwurst and I said I'll make her a liverwurst sandwich to bring to her. That's one of her favorite things. Everybody doesn't like liver. I get it, but she does. So whatever mommy wants, mommy gets. And that's just me. And I will make her some shrimp. What did I say I was going to make? Not shrimp scampi. That's Auntie Joanne's recipe. Some shrimp with the seafood. I'll think of the name in a minute. GT Junior grows in Alaska. So this is my way of staying on point. And I had some notes. That's why I kept this one out about StreamYard, so that I can have you put a hashtag for you to drop your channel in the future. I'm working on that. Um, the tag will come up for the Cash App and PayPal. the email address, and to program my commands, three emojis, and I'm like, whatever. I want to fix that. And multiple cameras. I'm working on that. I actually bought another camera. It's still not paid for. It's on the layaway plan. I put it on my Amazon card. And you know what? My Amazon card won't let me pay it from other accounts. You can't play your Amazon card from like Cash App or PayPal. You can only pay it through your bank account. What kind of mess? What kind of doo doo is that? Hello, you grow. What did I watch you doing? I don't know. I watch you guys. What I do is lay in the bed and I have a 55-inch TV in my bedroom so I can look at it without my glasses. But to chat so that I don't look like I'm speaking emoji, I have to put my glasses on. Sometimes I put stuff in there. I'm like, who in the fudge wrote that? I didn't misspell all those typos. Looks like I'm speaking pig Latin or something. But anyway, let's go over. No, one more thing talking about the gardening I have over here. And I want to talk about preserving because one of my friends gave me a snack and I never thought about. I have a dehydrator. I have a pressure steamer canner so I don't have to carry big pots of water. And I was given this pack of apple chips. I never thought about that. Connecticut, right here in my building, they have they rent a bus once a year and we can sign up and pay to go to the orchard and pick our own apples, get apples that they pick. But most of us just sit around and chat, eat some food, and come home. Just a day out. Me, I bake better apple pies, and oh my gosh, my apple cake my apple cake are you wouldn't believe it. My baby sister doesn't want anything from me for her birthday except an apple cake that I bake from scratch with fresh apples. What is in this? It says it's organic. They're dehydrated or baked crunchy apples, and they're Fuji and red apples. It said what's in here is real apples baked until they're craveably crunchy. Snacks gone simple. Ingredients: apples, apples, apples. Nikki, the apple cake, if you have an apple cake, you'll never eat fruit cake, or you might want a pineapple upside down cake, homemade, whatever. My granddaughter bakes wonderful, beautiful pineapple upside down cakes, and she does hers in the bun pan with the every other little circles of pineapple, cherry, pineapple, cherry. But anyway, this bag says gluten free, fat free, baked, never fried, no added sugar, good source of fiber, no preservatives. I'm like, oh, I got this. I got this. My dehydrator will be going. And when I'm preserving apples, I make homemade applesauce. Hello, Cassandra's South Fulton Garden. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming and welcome to GQUAT Traditions, where good friends become family, and family is everything. One last thing I want to read on here. I was about to get up, and for the calories, this is a pretty big size bag. It says 1.4 ounces, but it's a lot. It's a lot in volume. I don't think you could eat all this without drinking water. And all this is only 150 calories. I guess this would be the equivalent of eating one apple or something like that. But without further ado, as they say, let's go create. Let's go create something of value, something that will be here 25, 100 years unless. And as I was saying, part of my planning was moving into this apartment, moving off of 4 acres. There's no pickup trucks here. There's no PT Cruiser that my kids hate either. But I'm not buying anything else. I'm going to save, and the little bit that I have, scrimp on it. I managed to share. I took some food down to the community table this morning, and we have cameras all over the building. It's a lot of security. You get buzzed in. There's a special handicap door in the back. You don't have to pull heavy doors. But I went and I put the food on the table, and there was one guy. He pretends he's down there looking at TV on Saturday mornings when I take the box down there in my cart. He's actually waiting for me to put the food on the community table so he can ask first crack at it. But then there's one guy um, who doesn't speak English. I say dobre utra in the morning or dobre ranuk. That's another language. And that means hello in other languages that a lot of my neighbors speak. Okay, so now we are over here. There's probably more I want to tell you, but that's enough. Nikki, do you have my notifications on? David, ain't nobody getting your notifications. I did see you out there with the chickens today. I said, ain't nobody studying about no David. He can't say hi. I got mail, nothing. But you said you did. I have to take your word for it. Take your word for it. So, what I'm doing is it finally says GQUAT is live. Okay. Got a message. Plan change for my hair tomorrow at my hair appointment. But it's okay. It's okay. Cause I want my hair looking smooth like Gina, like Nikki Nick, not all these little things. I'll stop talking about that because it is what it is. And I got help. I got help coming. Actually, I'm going to help. And that will give me time to finish church and finish my mom's shrimp. I've already shelled them. I've already chopped all the shrimp creole is what I'm making. Shrimp creole. And I haven't made that for a long time. One of my mother's favorite meals, but she likes anything I cook. So does Auntie Joanne. Most people do. Just unless you just don't eat that food. I'm clearing my phone so that I can try to see what you guys are doing in the chat over there because I know you cutting up Nikki and David in the same chat. Oh, it's going down. It's going to be some shenanigans. So, to make the journal covers that I make, first, usually you save the best until last, but I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. And this is a journal cover for this one is a commission piece. This one is for a friend of mine who just had a birthday. Remember, Auntie Joanne sent me the leather? I have a lot of journal covers started cut out. I do them in blocks of time because I try to have something ready all the time. I know I have Christmas coming up, birthdays. My family doesn't want, everybody works, even the kids, and they do something, and they live on their money. They do what they do. And shrimp creole, Cassandra, from scratch. I cook everything from scratch. I seldom use like even canned soups. I make my bone broth. I make my broth ahead of time. It takes a long time, which is why I don't do a lot of live cooking videos because I start the day before. My daughter starts, she cooks all day. My granddaughter, we cook the old fashioned way. That's just me. Nothing wrong with uh, mushroom soups, cream of celery soup. I just have the time and I like it. Bayou Sugar, thank you for coming and welcome. So this one is for my friend Ife. She's away for the weekend, so she's not watching. She's in a wedding. And this is authentic African mudcloth. I'm holding it up close. I had to do something extra with this as opposed to other fabric. It has a leather pen pocket, and this is for those of you who are writers or like writing in cursive. Yes, some of us still write in cursive. I don't know if you noticed the other journal that there was so much writing in cursive. I used to belong to a writing club, and the writing club we met, and thank you, Maria Graham. We met once, twice a month, maybe once a month, and we sat around this big table and we all wrote. Some, I guess, printed. I don't know what they wrote in the journals. And there would be certain subjects that we talked about, and then we would share, we would read what we had written, or we would share our thoughts about that. And we would write for about an hour and discuss for about an hour. And it was a way of communicating ideas, thoughts, and it was really great. That was before you know what. Now they meet online and maybe YouTube or Zoom, mostly Zoom, but you do what you do. David Corey, too easy. Stop spamming. David, oh, David, you have couple too many, a couple too many, a couple too many emojis. So the other thing about this, let me put it down. These arms get tired. These arms of mine. Who was that? Otis Redding. I used to love me some Otis Redding. And Auntie Had Eyes. The boy was fine too. So fine, even though he was married, just looking, as Jake say, not shopping, just looking. And even even the leather page holder in this book, you see, I got one of her favorite composition books and I put it in. Even this is leather. So, yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. And mudcloth I found, and I will show you. This and this pen I found it from Nikki, and from Yankee Sister Homestead, that these pockets need to have more than one pen. But this pen, and no, I don't work for them. They're not giving me anything. This pen is by Pilot. It's a Pilot G2, but it comes in different, like black, red, blue. The 2-10 is very heavy, and it says bold. It says bold, and it's the longest writing, smoothest writing pen. People take it out and put it other places, and then it never gets back. So, if you would like to make a journal cover, get your pen. David is not sorry 6 times. Oh, that's cute. Oh, what a great idea, David. To keep Nightbot from beating on people, you could just do like a smiley face or whatever your emoji is and put the number of times you mean it. Like I like purple hearts. I could put a purple heart and then 6. Nikki, you love that cover. You love your cover with the flowers on. See, that's why you make them yourself, because you can have as many as you want and you can make them by hand. It's a very simple thing to do by hand because you can use whatever you want. You don't have to do it on a composition book. I know people that make them for their Bibles, their Quran, their Torah, their whatever you believe in, or just a happy book. Blissful Acres Off Grid. Oh, Resilient Dad, thank you so much. Tapping in from the Bay with much respect. Happy Saturday. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. The journal covers, if you want to use one of these standard composition books, I tried to be I tried to be smooth. So when I take the extra money that you guys give, I only use it I only use it for the channel. And I went to Wally World when school is in, and I buy these. I buy these when they're 50 cents each. And I use on them. Happy Saturday, Resilient Dad. And I buy them for 50 cents each. I was so busy being greedy, buying a whole box that was just sitting there already in there. I bought, I don't particularly like these with the small lines, although you get more writing in it. And as a journal, you can put a picture, you can draw on it, you can buy a sketchbook. The sketch, well, I have sketchbooks over there. I won't get up and show you, but I have sketchbooks that I put my own covers on. You can sketch in it, you can draw on it, you can paste things. And the sketchbooks are like watercolor paper or something like that. They have really thick paper, and they're almost waterproof. You can water paint in them. I have, and left the page open. But I'm going to give you the dimensions since I make so many of these. And yes, I do sell them. I save the money to buy more more things, to make more things, because everything is so expensive. And our treasured home, please email me, because the fabric that I'm using today is authentic mudcloth, and it comes from Africa. I actually have friends that retail the fabric, and I buy it from them. I will buy like a 6 yard piece and then cut it up, cut it up. I never work on one thing at a time, especially when I'm sewing, because I don't cut the thread. Being cheap or penurious, being a penny pincher, I and a lot of quilters do this when you're doing a lot of pieces. Instead of cutting a long piece of thread, a lot of you see me pull thread out and I'll have a long thread. That's because with these old mechanical machines, I'll turn the light on. I love this bright light. It's an LED light. It doesn't get hot. And particularly tonight, this is one of the reasons I bought that blue antique featherweight machine, is because when I'm sewing black thread, oops, I did it again. A resilient dad. I guess he's fussing about emojis. Okay, our treasured home. Nana said she would email me. This black machine with black thread and black fabric is like you're sewing on invisible. You have lots of cowhide, but little in the. That's funny. She has animals. She has pigs and stuff. You can use that. You can use that if you know how to tan it and stick it in the ass or deer hide. Deer deer skin is very, very soft. Before I downsized and moved to this apartment stead, I lived on 4 acres. And if I let the deer hunters hunt on the property, in return, they would give me a deer ham and a tenderloin. And they would take the antlers and they would leave it in my smokers. I had those smoker grills outside where you put the wood in one side, and it's a pretty large grill. My brother went out there after I left. He was down there visiting. He said, Sissy, guess what I found inside the grill? I said, antlers. You guys that were here in the beginning, that's what I used to feed my Cane Corsos to gnaw on. Instead of some of this crap that they sell with all the chemicals in the stores, I would take the antlers, and these are 170-pound dogs. My males were 160, 170-pound dogs, and they were all champions or champion bred, because as a registered breeder, I had to keep the bloodline pure. That's another story. So those of you who would like to make journal covers, take something out, a piece of paper, and you see this GT Junior grows in Alaska. I have written down on what you need to make journal covers. A composition book, the measured size, you guys, is 7.5 by 10 inches. So you cut your fabric 12 inches by 22 inches. If you're using batting, you cut your batting 11 by 18 inches. Cut your fabric for the pen holder 6.5 inch square, because you will fold it. Not leather. This is if you make it with fabric. If you're making it in leather, you only need 2 inches, 2 inches wide, but most of you won't be using leather. And I will show you something. And you cut your page holder 2.5 inches, or you can use ribbon. What I would like to show you, because I make a whole bunch, a bunch. Resilient Dad is a great guy. He does a lot for the community, and I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. I've tried to get your mailing address. Hint, hint, hint. So to show you, I have pre-made, because I have 3 journal covers cut out, because I will have some journals for sale soon. You agree about a resilient dad? I think everyone will agree. So I will be making 3 of these. One online tonight. One is almost ready. These are my page holders. Oh, and you might have a glue stick handy, but in my crafting, art, sewing area, I always have a glue stick. I always have fabric glue. I always have certain things that I keep just in my personal little work area. Markers, snips, whatever your regular sewing things are. For some of you who will be making jeans and doing the upcycling, this is what jean needles look like. I ordered them online. Sassy, Sassy, I'm talking to you. You'll be getting Mom's sewing machine out. And these not only do they sew through leather or denim, it's, they say denim, but I sew through leather on them. I liked them because they have giant eyes on them, and you can thread them with a thread holder, with your glasses, with whatever. And I buy them ahead of time. This is one pack, but you can almost see, if I'm holding it still, you can almost see with your bare eyes how big the hole is in that needle. And the tip is very, very, very sharp, so that you can sew through denim. You can sew through leather. Now, the only thing about it, if you decide to sew something silk or something thin like this, you will get bigger holes in your fabric. So then you would switch to a smaller needle. I'm using black thread on this old machine, and black, and sewing on black, so that will be hard to see. And do I have you a mod? Are you trying to get moderators, David, to keep us out from trashing you when you go live? So these are some of the page markers. And for those of you who live in areas where leather's not conducive, you don't use leather or animal products, here is, I have to look. I have to feel it. I'm a tactile person. I like touching things. That's what I love about the different fabrics. And this is naugahyde, or a faux leather. And this is how it looks on the inside. Oh, child, don't show those nails. Auntie Ellen, shame on you. That's why the kids buy me clothes, so I won't embarrass them in public. But I have to look on it to see. So Nancy's emailing me. She really wants some of this mudcloth. And oh, you know what else is good for journal covers? The upholstery fabric. Remember I showed you A couple weeks ago, you all held me over looking at fabric, looking at fabric. Those were upholstery samples from You're Nice All the Time, a trusting person. Yeah, I am too. And I'm kind and sweet until they cross the line and like Mona sifting some soil says, baby, you reap what you sow. You want to bring some, you're going to get some. And I already know what's going to happen. You don't. So here is the Naga hide. And I'm not going to stand up because I'm not showing my pants. A couple of things I'm going to show you because I did stabilize the fabric today. And this is what, for those of you who are here the first time, this is what this Naga hide comes in. It's several feet. Several feet. I got it on Amazon and it comes in all sorts of colors. Red, green, blue, purple, all you purple lovers, gold foil, silver colored. I have some leather that Auntie Joanne gave me that are in these colors. I'm pinching on them, pinching on them, pinching on them. Big fact, you must be a Scorpio. Auntie Ellen is a Scorpio. I am. I am what I am. So, that being said, the heat and bond for those of you who want stabilizer, and this is a double-sided light sewable. You can use it if you're sewing by hand as a stabilizer. I will show you why I'm showing you this. These are different parts that you put together to do lots of different things. This is a 5-yard roll because I use a lot of it. Hello, Barb Brownlee. Welcome and thank you for coming. I thank each and every one of you because each of you contributes to the channel, whether it's in watch time or something. Each of you is valuable, you is important, and I is proud of you, each and every one of you. And I appreciate you taking time out on your Saturday evening. You can buy this at Wally World, one sheet at a time, for small jobs, for things you may want to make one. You may want to make one postcard. You may want to make one journal cover. You might decide these are wonderful gifts. You can't make enough of these. The key fobs, the pillowcases, these are things that money cannot buy. Yes, you can buy a pillowcase, but it won't be like the ones that I make. GT Junior, you were talking about we were talking about design walls and planning ahead. And it wasn't last week, it was Thursday, I read something that said use your time, your talent, and your treasure for doing good in the world. So I just talked about it Thursday. So next Thursday, I'd like each of you to tell me how you use your time, your treasure, and your talent to benefit not only yourself, but somebody else in the world. You don't have to be a part of a giving group. You don't have to be part of a formal group. You make your own plan of how you want to give back. As I told you before, Julius Caesar, one of his famous sayings in Latin was Veni, Vidi, Vici. That's what's on the back of this card. And I translated it to modern. Oh, GT Junior, I think you're talking about this, GT Junior, but I'll go over both of them. This used to be my favorite, one of my favorite saying. When I was in 7th or 8th grade, I started this program in Connecticut. It was pre-med, so they gave me all these classes in math, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, calculus before I got out of high school. I had to take Latin in 8th grade because a lot of the root words of the English language are Latin, Greek, and one of the Romance languages. So Veni, Vidi, Vici is what Julius Caesar said when he went to conquer a city. It means I came, I saw, and I conquered. And I wanted to translate it for today's children, young people, to modern words, and I translated it. And I didn't put it on my vision board. I do have a vision board. My vision board consists, GT Junior, of a 16 by 20 stretch canvas. You can use a canvas board, whatever. I painted it just some random acrylic cover. And Resilient Dad says 3 T's: your time, your treasure, and your talent. And you can be a party of one, a party of one. Like I told you, I have been part of giving groups. I do give in other areas, but I do what I can do by myself. If the government shuts down, no matter what's going on around me, I make sure that I reach out. I do what I can by myself. I don't need any organization. Oops, I'm so sorry, you guys. I didn't realize. I'm so busy looking up and talking to you. I hate when that bright light is against the glass. With my glaucoma, and a thyroid problem, I'm very sensitive to light. So, without, let's move right along. So, in order, look, I even have pockets pre cut with the faux leather. How do I tell my real leather? And I have fabric. Sometimes, yes, Resilient Dad, you came, you saw, and you conquered. Gina, that goes to some of the things that you say about planning. This is a pocket that if I don't have Naga hide, if I don't have leather, this is just some nice thick black fabric. Nancy, our treasured home. This is a good fabric to have. You can buy it at Wally World. You can buy it. No, not Wally World. I don't think they sell this. Joann's Fabric, Hobby Lobby, some of the fabric stores. This is a very thick, as you can see, holding it up in the light. You can't see through this. This is double. That means it's a very thick fabric. And it's a heavier weight than most United States textiles. Indonesia, some of the other countries use a heavier weight, as do the African wax print fabrics, and they dip it in the dye and saturate it longer. And that's why you can use either side the the fabrics coming from there. And I even saved the little strings like this. Why? I could use this for a page cover. You just need something to go down and hold the page. So this part was was wide. I could cut this part. I could actually make two, but I like my page holders to come way down. Why is that important, Auntie Ellen? Because when you're laying in the bed, or like GT Junior just said, you want to write something down. What did you say, Auntie Ellen? You got to jump up. You got to get your book. You got to find a page that's not written in. You got to get your pen. So this makes it easy. You have it right there, right there. Somebody says something you want, and GT Junior, you can take it in the garden. It's just eco-friendly, and and the fabric feels really good. It's real authentic fabric. And one of the things I want to show you up close, you see the tan part, you see the stitches that came with the fabric. In other countries, they weave them on small looms. Some of them are done in small places. The looms are small, and then they piece all these strips together to make a wide piece of fabric. I had a pair of like harem pants that somebody gave me, and I loved them. They were beautiful. Guess what I did with them? That's okay. You grow row. It's so it's okay. That I was trying to change the limit, but I haven't learned how to do that and Nightbot. In fact, I didn't know I had him loaded. I was looking at him and I was joining the channel. Next thing I knew, they jumped me in like I was in a gang. Like I was in a gang. They jumped me in. Hello, Stacy, hands in the dirt. Thank you for coming and welcome. So this is how, again, I can tell, even though they're in the same baggie and pre-cut, this is the Naugahyde. This is leather because this is the side it's tanned on. And I've already sewn a couple of these down, one of which I will use tonight. This will be the page holder. So, GT Junior, anybody who wants to make a journal cover, and I iron my fabrics, I keep my fabrics straight. Why? Because I'm like my daughter twins, Nikki and Sassy. I'm kind of OCD, OCD-ish, and they're already cut. They're ready. I put them in a bag and I save them until I need them. Everything has a place of its own. And you know what? I don't know if any of you has ever worked in a place where you do repetitive motions. I don't know. They have studies, business studies about the economy. It's called the economy of motion. And that's just like if you work in the automotive industry and you're continually making things, they tell you how many times Nightbot is a new member of the family. He's a member of the family, but he keeps a lot of the riffraff out. Some of those people, we're gonna start put horrors in the six. That's your invention, David. For those of you who are new or just coming in, because Nightbot spanks us all if we put too many emojis in. You put an emoji or two, and then you put the number of times you wanted to say it, like a six. That's 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 I'm looking at Nikki's message. That's what you do to avoid Nightbot. Nikki said she had carpal tunnel really bad when her son was young. So you use to one of the things to prevent carpal tunnel is the economy of motion. Some of you, speaking of carpal tunnel, some of you that like to craft, they have, this is my little bag that goes with me everywhere. And this sewing machine that weighs 11.4 pounds, that goes in the carry on. And so does Mr. Hershey. He weighs 11.6 pounds. I carry my little labels. I carry a little ruler, a little tape measure, but this little bag goes everywhere. Watch it not be in here now. Oh, it's in here. And this is my OCD-ishness, Nikki. And I've learned to fasten things because things fall over, your purse in the car, whatever. This is a crafting glove. You can get them for both hands, but one of my students in one of my volunteer arts and craft classes that I used to give before the you know what gave me this. She was 98 years old. She lives in her own apartment upstairs by herself. She has somebody to come in to clean occasionally. She has whatever she needs. And she gave me this glove for when I crochet, especially when I'm making the homeless beds out of the plastic or the plarn. My hands hurt. So she gave me this one. I have another set with other 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 ones, but this is good to have, Nikki, and those of you who are doing crafts. So let's just kick it right along. Nikki and Stacy are going live after this. So whoops, bang, crash. So that one fell. So again, I will hold up the dimensions to make the journal cover so you can do a screenshot, and you have this all the time. I just stick at this one under my cutting board because every once in a while I'll start doing it. And I'm saying, like, why reinvent the wheel? I've already written this. Okay, so now I will stick this underneath my cutting board. I will put the pieces of leather for the journal cover. I will put my needles up because I will forget. And last of all, as you know, when you're creating art, you're giving gifts. You see a glue stick under here, right? Because I pre-glue the whenever I'm using leather, I put a little dab of glue on the end of it so that it doesn't slide because it doesn't easily pin. Yes, you can use other glues. You can use Elmer's, you can use whatever, but I suggest to you, if you own a machine that you care about, Teresa Bailey says she'll stop lurking. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. No matter what, Teresa. Like I said, when you're in the bushes, usually people are busy. This is some leftover scraps of fabric. It's called basil, and it looks like cotton. Why is it yellow? Because it's an African fabric, and I had it shipped over for a project. It's a nice heavy weight, even for white. You see that you can't, it's not opaque, you can't see through it. But when I hold it up, you can see that it has a slight pattern on the back of it. So I decided I wanted to not throw it away. Plus, it was already ironed. I have it in here for labels. Why are we talking about labels? Because you don't have artwork unless you sign it. And I keep a little journal for my artwork, by the way. And it's called the provenance. Provenance. It's like the background of creating a piece. Like sometimes you may be an investor. I don't know. You might be very wealthy. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing. And thank you for your contribution. You may be an art collector. You may win a big lottery. By the way, there was some lotto, big lotto for big bucks here in Connecticut recently. I couldn't win because I didn't play. But what I do is I want to show you something how to make your own labels for free and for nothing. This, when we were doing something a couple weeks ago, making postcards, this was a piece of a postcard with, I'm checking to see whether it's freezer bond or I mean heat and bond or freezer paper. What you do is you can take any kind of a marker. I have I have so many things going. I was marking a lot of things to take to my mom tomorrow. But this is a craft for all marker. This one is pretty good. It's not my best one. You can buy on Amazon or anywhere you want a clothing fabric marker. I repeat, a clothing fabric marker. Why do I say that? Because it has a nice narrow tip. And what you can do is, why is the freezer paper on the back of it? To keep the ink from permeating and spreading too thickly. So you can make, if you're making a handbag, or I know my hand's in the way. I'm trying to figure a way. And then you sign it, the actual fabric laundry marker would be better. Or if I held down, that's it. I can sew this on the back of my hoboing bag, my hobo bag, or anything. You make your own labels, correction. Okay? Now, here's another one I made for you guys. And this one is so nice that I can barely see it. This is a piece of unbleached muslin. Again, a piece of leftover fabric. And remember the heat and bond I told you about? You put the rough side against the fabric. Why the rough side? I'll show you why. It's thin, but it's double. It's double. Now watch when I do sign my name this time. That's what Ralph Lauren, Yves Saint Laurent, other people do. I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So I'm just showing you. I had to hold it straight. It's so small. And I could have done a better job. But guess what? This is a label. This is a label. We'll pretend I can't write any better than this. And because it's heat and bond, look at this. I pull, this is what happens with all heat and bond. You pull it off and you can sew it on. But you know what the magic of heat and bond is? I will hold it up to the light. Can you see what's going on this side? Trying to get the light so that you can see it. Can you see the shiny part? I'm holding it because now this is an iron-on label. You put this on whatever fabric you like. If you don't want to sew the label on, I personally prefer to sew it because I figure if heat will put it on, heat will take it off. David Corey's apologizing to Nightbot 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Thank you. Thank you, David. So look, now you have an iron-on label of your own. And not only this, the black part, you can use a crayon. It has to be Crayola. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Nightbot acting like he's GQUAT's man. He's up on me like, as they said, like bone meat, right? So now you have a double-sided iron-on label. And not only that, what I was starting to say before David started cutting up was that you can use a Crayola crayon marker and that will become waterproof if you heat set it with an iron. But again, don't forget, when you're heat setting these little things, you put it inside parchment paper or something so that the sticky stuff doesn't get on your iron, so that the glue doesn't get on your iron. And hey, David, I just thought of something. Why are you hating on? Why are you hating on Nightbot? Why are you hating on Nightbot, David? And so this is another way to make a label. So now you already have all the parts in place to make a journal cover. You have your fabric, you have your label, you have your page marker. You know what it's like? It's like, actually, I'm going to put this right here because I'll be looking for it. And we were talking about the economy of motion. By me sitting here and working in the same spot all the time, hi, Erica, my fly family. I was watching you in the bushes. I'm usually taking a nap when you get in from jogging with Alex, and I forget to go back. I wake up, but I do watch. So the economy of motion, you start reaching for the same thing, the same place. It's like touch typing on a typewriter, on a keyboard. You know where everything is. You know where everything is. You don't have to reach for it. You don't have to think about it. So that's how I keep my little workspace set up. Trying to make it so that you don't have to see my face. So I have all these little labels almost pre-cut. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there because we are going to make this journal cover live in living color. And this journal is for one of my writer friends. This is authentic African mudcloth with a leather pen holder, one of the smoothest. This lady is a writer, so I gave her one of the nicest gel pens. Nikki will tell you about the gel pen she got in her journal. It writes so nicely, and of course, a page cover so that you can just open it, write, and start writing immediately. You don't have to look for it. That's why a lot of us don't take notes. By the time we get everything together, the person who's talking is on to something else. Okay, so we already knew what size to cut the background fabric. This is a different piece of authentic African mudcloth. I cut two more pieces because this particular fabric is kind of rabbly. I have stay stitched around the edges when I actually zigzagged. You see where I zigzagged? You can see it on the light. That would keep it from raveling. And this fabric, the mudcloth, is easily ravels, something like burlap, except it's a softer fabric. This one's full of lint. But what this actually is on the inside is a layer of heat and bond. This is heat and bond that I put on the inside. You can leave it in, it makes it really firm. It makes a really firm cover, or you can take it off. I took it off of this one for whatever reason, and then the journal cover that I made for my friend. And then you have to decide, once you cut it out, which side you want for your front, which side you want for your back. I decided I want this one for the front because if someone purchases one, I can put their initials over here in a solid pen that you can write on, that it won't come off, and put their initials on it. And so I'm going to use this for the front, and I'm going to sew the pen pad on here. Dave Casper, question: do you use those black lines and these these black lines are part of the pattern? Whoever asked me that. Hello, Billy. I never met Billy, Erica, and I never popped up or anything, but I would like to know that Billy knows that I know he's in existence. And when I say hello to you and Alex, hello, Billy, too. Billy's probably out oiling putting lotion on his index finger. See, I watch. Tell him I said, what's up, my guy? With the black lines. This is just a basic design, Nikki. And some of them, this one of these have white lines. You know, each village, each tribe, whichever maker, they make their own lines on this fabric. Mudcloth is literally some cloth that is dyed in mud. I don't know if you've ever seen the mud, like the red clay mud in North Carolina. I don't know if they have red clay mud in Georgia or some of the other places, but you stain that, get that on some fabric, it's not coming off. GT Junior. Oh, GT Junior, you didn't get your postcard yet? Yes, I sent it out the same time I sent the one to Miss Ellen. Oh, I'm so sorry. They take so long to get it. GT Junior. I meant to ask you about that. David Corey wasn't the only one I didn't hear from. Cheryl Faulkner says they have plenty of red clay. So that's why they call this mudcloth. It's literally dyed with mud and some India ink. Some of you who are artists, you can take regular India ink and draw lines. You can dye it. Some of it is white. I'm sure that's why I have them postmark at GT Junior. And because you asked, I have it on my post office receipt the day that I mailed it, because I mailed one to my mom in the nursing home because she wanted to get some mail. It took them 3 weeks to bring it in Connecticut. If I had known that, I could have driven it and dropped it off, but I wanted her to get some mail. I'm going to make me a Maryland crab mudcloth. I'm getting ready to make me some Maryland crab meat, some back fin crab cakes one day this week. It won't be Monday because it's Meatless Monday, but I've got some of that in the fridge too. I don't eat a lot, and I don't eat a lot of meats or anything. But when I do, I eat well. I eat top shelf. My little freezer back there's full of what is it? The tail meat. The what is that tail meat that you like, David? That comes from a cow. Wait a minute. I just pause. I gotta I gotta watch what I say. You had a crab cake yesterday. Nikki, you didn't have one like aunties. When I get to the DMV, I'm gonna have to make some. And I actually was going to make a shrimp salad. Then I said, you know what? I'm not putting this back fin crab meat in a crab salad. I can use claw meat. I can use anything for that. So I decided to make the other another shrimp dish and save that for another day because that back fin was a bit pricey per pound. Oh, GT Junior said oxtails. Don't get David started. Oxtails. Yes. I have a bunch of those. There's more crab meat in there in the freezer too. For hard times. How many of you can go a month without going buying anything at the grocery store? Or even if you have water, you can filter it. How many of you? Put a one in the chat. I'm going to start sewing on this because this is almost ready. I have pre-cut it. I have stay stitched around the edges. I have a book to see what size, and I pulled the heat and bond off the inside. You see, Barb Brownlee's ready. She's ready. So you see the heat and bond on the inside? I'm not going to do anything to it. GT Junior, he has a two. What was a two mean? You almost ready for a month? You got 2 weeks worth? 2 weeks worth? 2W? David Corey has us abbreviating for Nightbot. You got 2W? I could, I don't go to the store every week. I do a big shopping every month, maybe, except I can't get a slice of cheese in my little freezer instead of my nightstand. Jigs, David, you got Auntie talking about butt tail, oxtail. I do, I do, I do. And you can't buy it. And so I buy the 15-pound box and then I have them divided in like 3 packages. Yeah, with 5 pounds each. With 5 pounds each. You eat a lot of fruit. I do too. I eat fruit all the time. If it wasn't embarrassing, I'd show you the table over there with a couple plants that I'm rooting, some squash that I'm saving the seeds out of, a couple different kinds, and we'll move on from here. So now that I have black thread, now that I have the black thread in the bobbin and in the top, because sometimes you change it. I normally sew with off white everything because number one, black thread is difficult to see, difficult for old eyes. And I'm going to put this down a little bit so that you see what I'm going to do. I'm actually working on a set of 3 journals while I've got the black thread in. Again, that's why I had the blue machine because I would put the black thread in that machine and go use that one for black thread and then use the other one for off white. You all are, say Saturday night at Auntie Ellen's house. Well, you know what? If we were at Auntie Ellen's house, let me just say this in the country in North Carolina, I would have a gallon of that really, really good corn liquor that you get. I don't know anywhere you get it except in North Carolina. I lived on 4 acres, but I used to rent 21 back in the day when my husband and the kids and I lived there. and Auntie Jay and everybody used to come visit. I mean, we'd have a ball. We had the chickens, had pigs on other people's property, a cow on somebody else's property, so the kids wouldn't see it because somebody told them we were going to eat brownie, and they had a fit when they found out the bacon actually came from the things that were walking around the property. So, back, I'm going to put you down slowly. And it's already pre-pinned, but like in construction, you measure twice and cut once. So I'm making sure that this fits this composition book. I've pre-measured, but sometimes things change. This edge isn't staying down flat because this edge isn't staying down flat because it was short. It didn't quite touch the heat bond. So what do you do about that? Simply, you've already got all your other kinds of glues sitting around your work area. This is fabric glue. So I'll just stick a couple drops along there. Do I have to? No. And this is like a medium-sized glue. I like the smaller, and you can use any type of glue you want. You can use a glue stick, but since this is so absorbent, I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to put the ends down so that it's not, I can't pin it. I can put clips on it, but why? Or maybe I will put one just to keep it from sliding in the middle. I turn, so I don't know. I don't know who to leave in charge over here. Maria, you act pretty good. Nikki, don't show any pictures of anything. Actually, I'm going to be sewing. Would anybody like to come up? Is anybody crafting or doing anything with arts and crafts or working on their time, treasure, or talent? Would you, if so, would you like to come up? Would anybody like me to drop a link to come up? Can you put a 3 in the chat if you want me to drop the link? Let me see. Okay, just a minute, you guys. Copied. Okay, go to the chat. Command V. A Yankee sister says, "You guys are so hilarious in the store, listening and watching chat." What link? Uh-oh. David, behave. Nikki, if you come up, don't show any pictures of cow parts. Okay, Stacy here's in the dirt. You make sure you keep an eye on Nikki. I'm going to be sewing, you guys. So I dropped the link just in case somebody would like to tell you about the, David, you don't want you to come up. Pause, David. Pause. Pause, David. I see. I caught on, Nikki, what the pause was for. So I'm going to. I dropped the link in case somebody wanted to come up. Yankee sister, are you in the parking lot? Are you under my window? So I'm just measuring this again, making sure I didn't glue it down too tight. And I want to show you. See that little bit of glue? I'm watching out for the ladies. Okay. So I'm going to put this down just to show you what I'm going to do. And because this is a very thick, porous fabric, I've got the heat and bond on the inside that I don't even need. But it's not going to be melted onto anything, but it might be a little grippy on the composition book. So we are just having fun at Auntie's house. I don't have any of that corn liquor that's sealed in the milk cartons, you buy by the gallon, and I forgot how much it was per gallon. And if you got the flavored kind, the peach kind, oh, that was $35 a quart, a quart. So I've got the edges pinned, and I'm just going to put a little row of stay stitching. I'm trying to keep the camera so that the bright light is not coming straight in on you. You guys, I'm going to tell you, like my dad used to tell the six of us, y'all be kind to one another. Y'all be good. Y'all behave until I get back. All right. All right. But now they didn't have cameras and stuff all over the place like they do now, Daddy. Rest in heaven. They didn't have all that. So I'll be watching you all on the cell phone over here. All right. Oh. Oh my gosh. What a pleasure. We have a guest, you guys.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Hello. Hello, a resilient dad. And thank you for coming. What a pleasant surprise.
The Grand Wizard GQUAT. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well, thank you. When you live a lot, you learn a lot. You make a lot of mistakes. You learn by making them.
And you share a lot. Yeah,
Thank you. I try.
yeah. From the Bay with much respect. It's interesting. We're not gardening, quilting, arts, or anything of that nature right now. However, we just got back from our mentoring situation, so it's been a pretty pleasantful day with mentoring to a lot of people here that it's just good when you got somebody that you got somebody that got your back, and it's
Yes.
been a beautiful thing for us today. Yeah. So I just wanted to drop some love for you. Yeah.
Could I ask you a question about your mentoring?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
mentoring children, adults? Because
Yeah.
you are sharing your time, your treasure, and your talent. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. So mentoring for us is everyone from the fifth grade all the way to their first year of high school. But what we realized over time was not only were we mentoring the kids, we're mentoring the parents that the kids went home to, or even the grandparents and the overseers or the guardians. Yeah. So it became a dual thing, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Exactly. Can I go tell you guys a quick story? One of my careers, one of my extra things here in New Haven, I worked for the Board of Education and I was a contract trainer. That's like a a pinch hitter for somebody who comes in for a team that needs somebody that can hit the ground running.
Mm.
So I had a mentoring group. It was called Diplomas Before Diapers. And it was a mentoring
Mm.
group to teach or to channel middle school kids to have other options, other communication options, other than just getting together and having babies before they got their diplomas from high school. And
Wow.
some of these kids were already active. They weren't telling their parents. They
Yep.
come into my class with hickeys on their neck, uh, with their with their pants down by the back of their knee, with their skirts. And in the summers, I would teach summer camp for these same kids. They would come to my door. I would just point to the door. Get your you know, don't even come in here like that. I am not. You're not coming in Miss
Yeah.
Elwood's classroom.
Yeah.
You not here. And they knew it. They knew it. They would act
And that
like
is the blessing right there. Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Yeah.
And I said
It's
I
the
didn't
same.
grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Right.
You know,
It's the same with us, even though we had, I would call it a pretty decent, if not a blessed upbringing, we still needed mentors and like people like around us that really cared about us to keep us all like straight. And honestly, I can't thank God enough for that. I really can't. Because it will be even our teachers growing up, and it was pretty different, like the roughness of it all. Um, I won't even go into too much detail, but it reminds me of just the life in the Bay that I see now, right? If not even now, it's even extra because of the amount of I would say like the predetermined like vision of what you think you should be before you even have a chance to just live life as a kid. There's so much out here, um, like in person and online, that will dictate and start curating your mind on what you think you should be or shouldn't be before you have actually have just time just to be, and I thank God for the people that like, curated and were guiding our lives. But out here and everywhere else, it's not just in the Bay that we do this in. We do this in the Midwest as well. It's called a resilient mentee and a resilient mentor, and that's what we're doing for a lot of different just ethnicities, backgrounds, especially
Exactly.
people that look like us. Most importantly, people that look like us, but even people that will share the similar background and experience, and the scarcity of availability for resources and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you.
I'm a proponent of it, so I always have to give back just because I'm a proponent of it.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to say hello to Miss T with the T. Thank you for coming in. A resilient dad. Have you heard of Inroads?
I have not
In-
heard of Inroads. It does
okay.
sound familiar, but I
In-
haven't.
Inroads is a mentoring group. They have an office in the Bay Area, and it's an international mentoring group. It takes gifted and talented minority students, it mentors them through 4 years of high school, and then it places them with Fortune 500 companies when they graduate.
Ah, okay, okay,
So you
nice.
can Google Inroads.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
definitely will. So
and
it
this,
sounded familiar, but I couldn't say.
yes,
Um, yeah, what we're doing is actually taking them instead of high school. We're taking them from middle school, right? We're taking
yes,
them from middle school, like from Hunters Point, HP, all the way to Sunnyvale, anywhere. We're starting pretty early, and we're getting them into the corporate life, and then we're also exposing them to. We have still, even after the pandemic, a lot of workhouses. And workhouses is workshop houses, short for workshop
yes,
houses, where you
yes,
can learn to build, and solder technology, or you can solder. You just learn different trades as well as how to compete in the corporate world, like very early. If you want to make apps for consumers, if you want to make apps for businesses, enterprises, um, yeah, it's going on forever. So it's a lot of things that we ensure that we expose everyone to pretty early. Not let alone the sports stuff, but yeah, yeah. I love that, and I want to look into that more.
that's awesome. And some of the things with children, that's why I started not volunteering. I was a paid contract trainer in the middle school, because if we could get them to high school and to graduate with or without children, we could get them in the college groups and get them
Exactly.
to where they earned a substantial living. And some of these kids in middle school will come in and they giving it up out both draw legs, and lying to their parents. Like they come in my room and I'm like, what is this on your neck? No, no, no. You
Yeah,
tell your mother that you bumped into this. Look, I know better, little girl. Don't even, you know,
yeah.
don't even.
They a couple of years ago they were doing something called the Salt Challenge, and it looked like somebody was pushing up on you. And
Yes.
I had a couple of my mentees come in with that, and I was like, "Wait, what? Break this down to me." And I got to see what they was looking at, and they were like, our guardians don't know what we're looking at, and don't tell them and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna tell them because you're gonna tell them. We're gonna talk about it together. All right.
Exactly.
And it was in such a smooth way that it wasn't like I'm betraying their trust, but it was in a way that you knew that this was unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't sustainable, right? We're on the path to excellence, not perfection, just excellence.
Right.
And yeah, we have a few principles that we abide by, and we make sure that everyone knows. But yeah, yeah, yeah,
I, I
it's
even
pretty dope.
I even took a class with I have a certificate from the state of Connecticut where I learned to recognize kids in trouble,
Hmm.
ADHD, things that have been undiagnosed in others. And oh, Sassy, you're going live after me? Okay. Well, thank
Nice.
you. Thank you for sharing that. I knew that Nikki wasn't going on tonight because I checked in, but I was talking about one little boy who had done something. And when his mother came in, and like these kids were, say, middle school, what, 10 to 13, and their mothers would be like maybe 10, 12 years older than them, some of them. And I would tell the parents something. They say,
Yeah.
no, mama, no, I didn't. I said, wait a minute, I'm a grown behind woman. Do you think I come here every day for 2 hours, for 2 hours a day, to try to keep your kids from bumping their head on some of the steps I have bumped mine on, to lie on him? Why would I? What?
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah.
a reason. Do you think I pay my mortgage with this money? Y'all, the kids know where I live because I teach at one of the special schools. What do they call it? The neighborhood schools in the summer
Yes.
as part of the camp. And I had a fancy car. They knew my car. Oh, Miss Panky, I know where you live. I said, yeah. Well, if you come to my house, Hannibal's going to eat you. That was one of my that was my German Rottweiler at the
You
time.
called him Hannibal.
That was his name. And he was named
You meant
after
business. You
the
meant
Roman
business.
general that crossed the Alps with
Oh,
the
okay,
elephant,
okay. Not the movie.
not the one that ate people, but Hannibal would. If I went to the cliffs right then and I came in, my mother would say, even though I had an alarm system, I put Hannibal in the garage and then let him, because he could set off the motion detectors and
Yeah.
stuff in the house. And my mother would say, did you let Hannibal in? At first, I'm just like, of course I did. But at the time, I wore fur coats. If I had a mink coat on when I went out dragging and flashing, I had to take the coat off and leave it in the car to get by Hannibal because he thought,
It
like
was somebody trying to
David
get
and
you.
Nightbot, yeah, something was too
Yeah.
close. It was going down. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you,
Much
and it's so,
respect. Much respect.
and
Yeah.
we all appreciate to know something about you, your personal life. This was interesting and fun. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I shared that a few times. You guys see ARD all the time supporting, and you'll continue to do that. Say less, but yeah, it's just something about I'm in gardening. I'm in a few things right that I'm looking to make a little bit more public, but GQUAT, the Grand Wizard, as I keep calling you.
Oh, thank you. I'm not.
There is something that could be said about when you have generations and generations of knowledge that still can be passed down, and you can
Yeah,
still navigate the whole social media world and everything else. Like that is, man, to me, that you won already. Like you won. Like you
thank
won.
you.
You
Like I,
won.
I have to keep
5 generations, like all that, like you won already. You
six.
know, six now. Oh my
Yes,
god!
yes.
Wow,
There's a
wow.
3-year-old. Yes.
Okay, okay. Yes, ma'am.
And the quilting, the all that, the sewing, crochet, that came from them.
So I remember the acronym for GQUAT because it was a thing. But you have to educate me again. What is the U in GQUAT?
Garden quilts, because the Q, there's always a
Oh,
Q and a Q.
QU.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started to do it without the U, but then it didn't make logical sense to me.
Okay. That's smart. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That's crafty. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you.
crafty.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate
much
you.
respect. I'll be back into my bushes as I always do. But
All right. Well, thank you. And like they say, you can let yourself out, please. I don't want to
oh,
zap
yeah,
you or remove you like I accidentally did my sister last week. Thank you,
no worries,
guys.
no worries.
Thank you, Rosita.
Thank you so much for your time. Like literally, thank you for your time. And just like we supporting the bushes, we're gonna keep supporting you anytime we can, and just show support online. And for the quotes and everything, I told you, reach out to me via the at resilient dad Gmail,
Okay.
and we'll make sure that we'll connect even offline. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Thank
that's our word, and that's my word, and you have that. All right.
I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, God bless.
Thank
Love.
you. Thank you. So, you guys, one quick thing about my six generations, not only does information go down the chain by rank of command and age, it comes up the chain as well. Tomorrow, while I'm getting my hair twisted, braided, whatever I get done, the 3-year-old will be there. We will be reading. He will go get his iPad. This little boy is 3 years old. He knows how to play the game sassy. He knows how to do those things, have him jumping over things, doing other things. He knows how to go and get, if he runs out of points, I don't even know what he's talking about, to order. He has to buy something to go do something else. He knows how to order clothes and show them to his grandmother that he wants her to buy him. He's 3 years old. I can't do the things he does on the computer. So he will be showing me some of those things tomorrow. So you guys, I have like another 5 minutes to finish up this little journal cover, and uh, thank you. So let's turn this chair around, and I will show you what I do to finish this. So it's basically just the edges folded down, and the machine sometimes has a hard time starting when there are a lot of seams. So even getting it under the presser foot through all these thicknesses is sometimes difficult. So if that happens, ouch, you just go to where you can fit it under and do what you can when you can. I'm going to move over some more so that I can have room for you guys to see what I'm doing. So I'm just doing a little stitch along the edge, and sometimes getting a running start helps to get it going. If any of you ever drove a stick shift and had a hard time starting, you put it in second gear, pop the clutch, just get it going a little bit, and you got it. So I'm trying to get over this big hump, and it did. And I'm gonna backspace. So I'm going to. It's hard to see because of the black thread, and that's why I seldom use black thread. But this side, where I couldn't start, because some of you who will be using old jeans, upcycling them, old clothes, upholstery fabric, it can be thick sewing. So I'm going to go back to the other edge and put it on the machine where it was slight. I'm going to put the thread underneath the presser foot so that it's going in the back. Why do I do that? Because if there's a loose strand underneath it, it's going to get tangled up and it won't sew. So you didn't want to go this way, buddy? Guess what? Wouldn't let me in the neighborhood coming in this way. I'm coming in the back door. So I'm going to put my hand here so that I can hurry up. You see, I got over the thicknesses. So I'm doing that to show you guys what to do if your machine won't sew over a bunch of thicknesses. I don't even know how thick this is. I want to show you. Can you see this? That's a lot to sew through. This heavy duty machine will will sew over anything. She's 75 years old, but this is a little powerhouse. Nope, she doesn't do anything fancy. She doesn't do anything fancy, but she does just enough to keep me from hand sewing, and I just love her. So hopefully I left a bigger thread. If not, because I want to get off, for those of you who are late coming in, Sassy said she's coming in after me. So I'm just finishing this little edge so that I can show you how to do the journal cover. Uh-oh, you're trying to come a lose, so you're not pinned. Actually, there is a pin under here. I will take you out. Sorry I can't see the chat right now. Nikki, you holding it down? You're not showing any animal parts. Okay. And Sassy, I want you to get your manual out for your mom's sewing machine, because you learn a lot just from looking at the manual. I had machines for years, never looked at the manual. Then when I got some of the later complicated machines, like your laser printer, I don't have one of those, but other things, I found out that I could have saved myself a lot of heartache, a lot of time, if I had just looked at some of the general stuff. Like when you open a computer app or something and it says quick start, I could have had a quick start. See, I'm going over this little quick area. And you guys make sure all the pins are out. This is normally where I put my label. You guys already know how to sew or iron on a label. This journal cover, whoops, there goes the pen. I would then put in, no, first, I just want to show you this. I'm not going to do it online, undercover player. Hey, some will, Jags, some will, some won't, some do, some don't. I might, I might, but I've done a lot of things in my life, Jags. That's why I've done a lot. That's why I know a lot. So this is where I would put my, no, I put them in different places. This on this one because I want to keep this one open, as I said, to put the initials on. So this is the front. It opens like a book. My label would go in here. Your page cover, your page holder, I would put a little piece of glue. Ugh, this time I'm using just a little glue stick just on the edge to hold it for the time being, because I'm going to sew through all these thicknesses. Not right now, but I want to show you how the book fits in like this. And since I've shown you all the parts, and I showed you the end before the beginning, I just want to show you what you will end up with. This has been a great live. I appreciate each and every one of you. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share for those of you who will be. I'm trying to end the banner. I didn't realize it was still going. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Ego Wamote. I love you guys. And thank you so much. This was a great live. I appreciate each and every one of you. And don't forget, go over to Sassy. Sassy does a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. Thank you for coming. David Corey says, respect yourself and others all around you. Yankee Sister says, take care, everyone. The end.